Well, hello everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm so excited about these new papers that came out in the second release for Celebration that I thought I would come online and show you some fun things to do with them. They're just absolutely gorgeous papers, and you are going to be amazed at how easy it is to create some fun little projects with these papers. So let me move these out of the way. We'll get to these in just a minute. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the papers. So here are, let me spread these out. Here are the designs. So there are 4 different designs, and you can get these papers free as if you place a qualifying Celebration order. So it's a $50 order, and you can choose this paper pack for free, or you can choose one of the other Celebration items for free. But these papers are just absolutely gorgeous. They're embossed with silver, like this one has silver and some gold. There's also some copper, and they're just so fun. And you can use them just as they are, or you can do some coloring. So I'll show you some fun things that I did with these papers. Hi everybody. Hi Mariana, Kathy, thanks so much for joining me today. So let me start out by showing you this first project. So this one I just used a piece of paper. I just cut the paper down to 5 1/4 by 4, and then I put it on my card base. So this is just a regular size card. Just adhered it to the front, and I added a little sentiment. It was super simple, and look how gorgeous it is just with these beautifully embossed papers. I just love this. So that's the first one. The second thing I did is I decided that I was going to do some coloring. So I'm going to open my Peekaboo Peach ink pad, and then I'm just going to use a sponge, and I'm going to grab some color. And let me just grab a scrap piece of paper here. And then all I'm going to do is just sponge right in the center of the paper. And you get such a nice look. It just brings out the embossing. It doesn't stick to the embossing. So your ink goes right in between all of the embossing that is on this paper. And it's just a super easy way to add some color. And you can color the whole entire piece of paper, or you can just color like this focal point like I did. And obviously you can use any colors that you want, and it just glides on so nice. I just love it. So let me show you what I did with this. So all I did was added just a little bow to my card, and then I, since my paper's embossed, I did some embossing with, you know, the heat tool. So this is copper, and it matches the copper in the paper, and it's pretty. I really like it. But then I did something else to kind of step up this card. So let me show you what I did. I actually added, let me find my glue dots here. I had them. Don't you just love it when that happens? Oh, here they are. So I just added, did a little bit of coloring on, where's my paper? Here it is. I did a little coloring on this paper using my stamping blends, and then I just cut out the image. And so I'm going to step this card up a little bit. So it was beautiful before, but now I'm going to add some fun little images that I colored with my stamping blends. So we'll add a little leaf in there. And this is just a really quick and simple way to step up your cards. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. And just look at how much different it looks just by adding that little flower. I'm also going to add another little flower. Let me tuck that one right in here. Let's see. Let's tuck it right there. There. How simple is that? And the paper is so easy to color. That's what I'm going to show you next. So besides doing the sponging, you can color these images with your markers, or you can color them with the Stampin' Blends. And I use the Stampin' Blends on this, but like I said, you can use the markers too. So let me show you how we'll do that. So the Stampin' Blends are these are the alcohol-based markers, so they're perfect for blending. And I like the Calypso Coral color. That's the color that I used. Let me grab this card again. That's the color that I used on here. I know it looks, kind of looks orange, but I guess the Calypso is a little bit orange. But it turns out super nice. So let me show you. So with my Stampin' Blends, I'm just going to use this side of my marker, which is the paintbrush side. And this is the darker Calypso, so I'm just going to, let me move this out of the way. I'm just going to add some dark colors. And I'm not the best at coloring, but you don't have to be. That's what's nice about these blends. You can just kind of add color wherever you want. As long as I can stay in the lines, I should be good. Let's see. Let's add some dark color there. So then I'm going to take my lighter one, and I'm going to use the same paintbrush side, and I'm just going to blend this in. So I'm going to color a little bit harder and blend it in. You can hear the squeaking of the marker. So, and then I can just kind of pull the color around, and don't worry, I won't color this whole piece of paper for you. But this just kind of gives you an idea of how you can add different shades of color. Okay, I'm getting there, guys. You didn't know you were going to be watching me color today, did you? Okay. There. So you can see it just kind of adds a little bit of depth and dimension to the card, or to the flower. But let me show you what I did with it. So this was just the Calypso that I used, but then I also used the green when I created this card. So I just colored in all the green leaves, and then I colored in the flowers the same way I just showed you how to do that with the Stampin' Blends. It's just so easy to create these cards this way. So, and if you don't have the blends, you can do the same thing with your blender pens and your ink or markers. The blender pens tend to give you more depth and dimension, but I'm sorry, the Stampin' Blends give you more depth and dimension, but you can get the same thing with your blender pens, just using, you know, some ink and your blender pens. So that is that one. Let me see. I have some people asking about that. Let me see if I can grab my blender pens and show you. So I'm just going to grab my Calypso Coral. So when I use my blender pens, whoops, I just kind of squeeze some ink onto the cover of my ink pad. And this is a blender pen, so if you don't have the Stampin' Blends, you can use this as well. And you could just pick up some color, and then you can add that color right to this paper. See how I did that? And it works the same way. The paper has like this shine on it that just really picks up color nicely. And you don't have to, you know, spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to add this color, because it just goes right on there. And you can add some more darker lines in here if you want to get more depth and dimension. So just don't, when you're using your blender pen, just don't blend as much. Don't, you know, just kind of draw some darker lines in there to give it a little bit of depth, like that. So you can do the same thing with this blender pen. All right, what other questions do you have? I'm trying to answer your questions and show you stuff at the same time, so. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Barbara. All right, so this gives you an idea. Like I said, you can sponge it, you can use Stampin' Blends, you can use your blender pens, you can use your regular markers, whatever you have to color this paper. It's just absolutely gorgeous. You could also use, if you have one of those brayers, you know, you could ink up your brayer and just cover the entire sheet of paper with some type of color, whatever color you want. All right, so here are the two cards that I did where I colored in the flowers. You can see I did the sponging behind. So this one is pretty simple. It's just I actually had a scrap piece of paper that I just laid right across the center of this card, colored it in, and then used up some of my other scrap pieces of paper from that springtime foil set. So here's another one. This again is just coloring. I just colored in the flowers. This time I left the leaves. You know, I didn't color in the leaves. I just left them white, and it's just got a nice, elegant touch to it. So, excuse me, I really like that one. What else do I have here to show you? Oh, and then this one, again, you know, is kind of similar to what I showed you in the beginning. So this one I just added a little sentiment, you know, and used the paper as is. This one I used the paper as a background and then just did an embossing, you know, added a nice focal point with an embossed sentiment. So that one was pretty easy to do too. And then some of my favorite ones, of course I really like the colored ones, but some of my favorite ones were where I actually did some fussy cutting. So let me show you. I am going to grab one of these pieces of paper and show you how easy it is to cut these out. So let's see. I am going to, maybe I'll just cut this one out. Yes, I'm going to cut my paper. So I'm just going to cut that out. Now, if you don't like fussy cutting, you might not like this, but basically I just turn my scissors as I'm, you know, as I'm kind of going around the image, and it just follows so nicely, almost effortless, really. And you don't have to get perfect with it, just cut enough. You know, I kind of leave like a little white border around my image. So you can see I'm not really cutting directly on the embossed image. I'm cutting just around it. And it's not that hard to do. Of course, I should have given myself a little bigger piece of paper here. So there we go. And then that's it. So now I have this, now I have this cute little image that I can tuck, you know, anywhere on my card. Tuck that right in there like that. I actually like that like that. So that's what I did here. I just fussy cut these little images and just kind of made a little arrangement of flowers. It was very easy to do, and then I just, you know, if you have some sentiments that you can cut out and add to your card, you can do that. You can stamp a sentiment as well. So, you know, whatever you want to do. But it's so easy to create such beautiful cards with these papers. And then this last one, I used another fun celebration item. So these are the Celebrate You Thinlits. So I cut them out of some copper foil paper, and then I just added it to the front of my card. Again, I just kind of cut this out, fussy cut this little flower. I guess maybe there's a better term than fussy cut, but that's what I call it. So I cut it out and I put some, you know, little copper thread behind it, and then just added my sentiment. It was so simple, and it's just an absolutely stunning card. So anyways, so these are all of the creations I have for you today. I hope that you learned some fun ways to use this new springtime foil paper, and I will have all of these projects posted on my website this week. So if you missed the video is recorded, so you can definitely watch the video again. But if you want specific measurements and instructions on how to put these cards together, I'll have that up on my blog later this week. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great day.